When the mineral frequency or hue, chroma depth and contrast of your glasses frames, as well as its shape, is uncalibrated to your biometric root, it creates spectral interference and thus dissonance. This forces the observer's brain to work harder to find you behind the glasses, triggering a subconscious distrust signal in under 30 milliseconds. In this client case study, I am correcting the optical static. I'm moving from standard and generic colors and frames that would compete with my client's biology to those that anchor her southern silhouette. For this, I use my proprietary ray spectral calibration. She is a multichromatic color type. She has a multichromatic dimension, which has direct effects on her entire color type and the according colors that she can wear. She also shows a narrow root profile, which also has significant consequences for the types of colors that she can wear compared to someone who has a wide root profile. I consider the color being part of phase 1 in my 3-phase radiance system, which you usually get with a spectral calibration, while the shape of the glasses is part of phase 2 in my 3-phase radiance system, which you usually would get in the structural calibration. Now, I do not view glasses as accessories. They are a primary focal point of your visual sovereignty. They frame the most important visual trust asset, your eyes. If this signal is uncalibrated either through the color or the shape or both, it creates immediate visual static during high-stakes communication. First, I want to address the color, the mineral frequency of the glasses. Based on the analysis results, her biometric root requires a very specific spectral reflectance in each hue. Considering the root profile and chroma depth range across the entire color spectrum, certain colors will create visual noise instead of creating focus on her eyes. These would be the usual recommended colors and frame shapes, such as black and navy, to maintain focus on her eyes. There are 3 possible colors, depending on her goal. If she wants to look grounded, trustworthy, timeless, I recommend going with a red-based frequency. If she wants to look radiant, engaging and youthful, I recommend for her specific color type a cyan-based frequency. If she wants to look memorable and use the glasses as part of her personal branding, I recommend a magenta-based frequency. The depth and the chroma of each frequency depend on the frame thickness and shape. And remember, there are 8 billion color types. Not 4, not 24. Every single person shows a very unique spectral blueprint. And even if you have similar features to my client, you will need very different colors and shapes, not only for your glasses, but also for your wardrobe, your makeup, your hair, your jewelry. For the first variation, if she wants to look timeless and grounded and trustworthy, I recommend going with black walnut, a red-based frequency. For the second variation, if she wants to look radiant and youthful and engaging, I recommend wearing Terrasse de la Mer, which is a cyan-based frequency. For the third variation, if she wants to look memorable, I recommend Red Rose Mamba, which is a magenta-based frequency. Now let's focus on the glasses shape based on her face geometry, polarity profile, eye shape and type. Now her general face geometry shows that she mostly falls into the oblong face shape. She has generally a longer face with a bottom square and a top oval. Her polarity profile is balanced. Her eye area particularly is also balanced, leaning feminine. The nose bridge is fairly slim and high. The nose tip, on the other hand, is wide and high. Generally speaking, there are 3 frame shape categories: angular, balanced, and round. The frame weight or the thickness depends heavily on the refractive power, on your diopter, the lens substance, refractive index, and more. There are 3 categories to choose from. You can have heavy frames, medium weight frames, and light frames. And when it comes to the frame size, there are also 3 general categories. They heavily depend on your head size and the face size. You can have large frames, standard sized frames, and small frames. Here are a few examples of frames that I don't recommend her wearing. These 3 fall into the rectangular category. First one is medium weight, the second one is heavyweight, and the third one is lightweight. They would create interference with her face. The following 3 frames are also not perfect for her face because the first 2 are too straight at the top, which create a heavily masculine look. The weight of the glasses or the thickness is also not perfect for her face shape. It overpowers her face. The third type of glasses is, on the other hand, too round, too feminine. Since she is a balanced polarity profile, she needs a balanced type of frame. They also are too thick for her face. They are overpowering and almost hiding her eyes. Here are 3 examples that would be perfect for her face. The first example is a balanced frame shape. It has a balanced thickness. While the first glasses leans more masculine, the second type of frame leans more feminine. So it will depend on what she wants to portray, how she wants to present herself. The frame thickness is also balanced in terms of it's not too light and not too heavy. But with heavier frames, she would have to choose the right color to balance the thickness so that her eyes are not hidden. The third type of frame is the lightest in terms of weight, has a balanced shape, so it is not too angular and it's also not too round. It is perfectly in the middle, in the balanced category, and it has a slight lift for her eyes because of the thicker corners. I would strongly recommend my clients to go with the third variation because it is heavily falling into the balanced category in all areas, in shape, weight, and size. The grounded color for her specific color type would be a red-based frequency, black walnut. As you can see, it looks much softer on her. It lifts her eyes and she looks more radiant through this color. The color and the frame are one unit. They need to be aligned with each other. You cannot choose just any frame with any color because the color influences the frame and vice versa. The second variation is the radiant variation, if she wants to stand out a little bit more. The third variation is the memorable color. Here's a comparison between the 3 glasses colors side by side, the red-based, cyan-based, and magenta-based frame colors. If your mission and vision requires more than standard colors, feel free to explore the spectral calibration at the link below.